Good morning, students. So last class we discussed about the armature winding terminology and also EMF equation, derivation of EMF equation, derivation of EMF equation. That means derivation of KT, KD, and also derivation of EMF equation was have to discuss it in the last class. Now today's class, so discuss about the voltage regulation. So before going to the voltage regulation, so what is the armature reaction and what is the leakage reactance? Now combination of armature reactance and leakage reactance you can call as synchronous reactance and also synchronous impedance. Then go for the voltage regulation, right? So generally causes of voltage drop in alternator is mainly armature resistance and also leakage reactance and armature reactance XCA, effective armature resistance or effective armature leakage reactance XL, armature reactance XA. So because of these three factors, the voltage may be reduced in the alternator. Now, what is the armature leakage reactance XL? Three major components mainly. So, slot leakage reactance, end winding leakage reactance, and tooth tip leakage reactance. So, these three will be the combination of these three is nothing but armature leakage reactance. Slot leakage reactance, end winding leakage reactance, as well as tooth tip leakage reactance can called as armature leakage reactance. And what is about synchronous reactance per phase is nothing but synchronous reactance per phase is the combination of leakage reactance plus armature reactance. XS is equal to XL plus XA, where XA is the armature reactance, XL is the armature leakage reactance. Therefore, we know the resistance, effective armature resistance, RA, and we know the XS, synchronous reactance. A combination of these two, that is synchronous impedance, ZS is equal to RA plus JXS. Now what is the armature reaction? So the effect of armature flux on main field flux. So the effect of armature flux on main field flux. Generally, main field flux is there and armature flux is there. So the effect of armature flux on main field flux is called armature reaction. Because of this armature reaction, the flux may be reduced. So that means this flux effect may be effect on the main field. That means the net flux may be reduced. So now this armature reaction may be cross magnetizing or demagnetizing or magnetizing. So armature reaction effect depending upon power factor. Suppose if power factor is unity, then the armature reaction is cross magnetizing. Lagging power factor, it is demagnetizing. Leading power factor, it is magnetizing. Suppose it is a unity power factor, that is nothing but unity power factor is nothing but pure resistive load, right? Pure resistive load. That means power factor is unity. The angle between voltage and current is 0, right? So at that time, power factor is unity, otherwise resistive load. The armature reaction is cross magnetizing. Cross magnetizing. Look at the figure here. This is the main flux. Blue color sine wave is main flux and this one light pink dotted lines is the armature flux. Now the effect of armature flux on main field flux is nothing but armature reaction. Look at the taking main flux is the reference. Now this is the EMF induced due to main flux. So that is nothing but voltage. This is a resistive load. Current is also in phase with voltage. I phase, IA phase, armature current is in phase with E phase. That is nothing but purely resistive load, that is cross magnetizing effect. Suppose it is a lagging power factor. Lagging power factor is nothing but inductive load. So armature reaction is demagnetizing. Armature reaction is demagnetizing. Look at the figure. This is the main flux phi f, and this dotted line is the armature flux phi a. Both are not same. Both are opposite to each other. Now taking the main flux from the vector diagram, taking the main flux phi f is the reference. Now what about voltage? Voltage is always E phase induced due to main flux. Now voltage may be induced because of main flux. So now what about current? Current is lagging voltage by some angle. Why? Because this is a purely inductive load. Look at the figure, IA. So IA is because of armature flux. Now this one angle is exact. Suppose you can consider angle is 90 degrees. You can say that the current is lagging exactly 90 degrees. So there is nothing but this is a demagnetizing. Because of this one, the flux is reduced. Net flux is reduced. This main flux and this is the armature flux. Net flux is reduced. Main flux decreases. Main flux decreases. Next one, leading power factor, that is purely capacitive load. Purely capacitive load is nothing but current leads 90 degrees exactly by voltage. So look at the figure. North pole, south pole, this is the main flux. And look at this one. This is the armature flux. This is the armature flux. Main flux taking as the reference, and because of that one, EMF is induced due to main flux. Now IA, current is leading exactly by 90 degrees by the V. There is nothing but leading here. Therefore, armature flux is there. Both are aiding. Net flux is nothing but main flux plus armature flux. Both are aiding. So main flux increases. Both are aiding and nothing but main flux increases. For pure capacitive load, leading power factor, the net flux increases. For pure inductive load, lagging power factor, the net flux reduces. Whereas in purely resistive load, that is crash magnetizing, so there is no change in the values. Both are in same. Voltage and current both are in same. Main flux is constant. Now voltage regulation. Voltage regulation, it is nothing but voltage regulation is nothing but change in voltage, change in terminal voltage from no load to full load, and it is divided by the full load voltage. Otherwise, it is defined as the ratio of change in terminal voltage from no load to full load, and it is expressed as full load voltage. Here, the speed and field excitation being constant. Speed and field excitation being constant. So voltage regulation, percentage voltage regulation equal to no load voltage minus full load voltage by full load voltage into 100. So once again, voltage regulation of alternator is defined as the change in terminal voltage from no load to full load. and we divided by full load voltage. Percentage voltage regulation is equal to V0 minus V by T into 100. So generally voltage regulation may be positive value, negative value, zeros value. For resistive load, positive values. For lagging power factor, so for inductive load, so it is also a positive value. But coming to the leading power factor for capacitive load, so it may be a negative, positive, zero. Three values will be applicable for leading power factors or purely capacitive loads. There are so many methods are available to determine the voltage regulation of a alternator. First one, direct method, direct loading method. Second one, synchronous impedance method or EMF method, ampere turns method or MMF method, zero power factor method or Portier triangle method, ASA method, and it is modified of MMF. What is meant by ASA is nothing but American Standard Association method. That is the modification of MMF method. Last one, true reaction phase. So by using these 6 experiments or 6 methods, we have to determine the voltage regulation of an alternator. But for our syllabus, for our electrical technology syllabus, only one method is used, given, that is the synchronous impedance method or EMF. By determining the voltage regulation by using synchronous impedance method or voltage regulation. To go for this synchronous impedance method, this is the basic diagram of synchronous impedance method. So field winding of alternator, this is the field winding. We are for field winding, any alternator for field winding we are giving the DC supply to excite the rotor. That's why this is the field winding. For that field winding we are giving the DC supply. Here rheostat is there and ammeter is there. That is the field. By using this ammeter, we have to determine, we have to know the values of field current, and this is the star connection RYB neutral, star connected armature winding. So here we are having TPST switch, and here in between 2 phases we are putting a voltmeter. By using this voltmeter, we have to determine the open circuit voltage. Suppose we have to connect the TPST switch. Now we have to utilize ammeter, that is ISC, short circuit ammeter. By using this one, we have to determine the short circuit current. So now open circuit. So to determine the voltage regulation, we are applying 3 methods. Open circuit, first resistance, to determine the resistance. Then we have to determine the open circuit test. Then we have to conduct open circuit test. Then we have to conduct short circuit test. Open circuit characteristics is nothing but, so here this is the field system. Field we are giving a DC supply, variable rheostat, ammeter. Now this is the star connected armature winding. Now we have to put the voltmeter any 2 terminals, that is RY or RB or YB, whatever it may be. Another terminal is open circuit. Suppose I am connecting a voltmeter in between R phase and Y phase. Now open circuit is B phase. Suppose I am connecting voltmeter in between Y and B, that means so open circuit be R phase, like that. So this is the open circuit voltage. So to draw the graph, at the starting apply a rated current by varying the rated rheostat. Actually it is put in minimum position. Now by varying this one, put rated current. So for this rated current we are getting one voltage, that is the open circuit voltage. So for a particular field current, the voltage is also particular. So now single value is going to the OCC curve is nothing but starting from 0 to it will be going to maximum. Short circuit is nothing but, so you have to short circuit all these three phases with one ammeter, not 3 ammeters, to 1 ammeter. 3 ammeters also no problem. As usual, the procedure is nothing but by varying at the starting put this is the rheostat in minimum position, and by varying the rheostat, put the rated current at the ammeter. Because of this rated current IF, getting the ISC, short circuit current. This is straight line passing through logic. Short circuit current, field current. Now generally, to determine the synchronous impedance, first of all determine the armature resistance and then excess. Therefore combination of those two is nothing but synchronous impedance. First of all, armature resistance for phase RA and open circuit characteristics, which is the graph of open circuit voltage against field current. From this open circuit test and alternator will be conducted. Then short circuit characteristic is drawn between short circuit current and field current. By using this one, short circuit test will be conducted. How to calculate the ZS? Already by using first point we can measure the RA. By using 2 and 3 we determine the XS. Now therefore for a given armature current and power factor, E phase determined and the regulation is also calculated. So open circuit characteristic is drawn between open circuit voltage and the field current. The curve is like this. And short circuit current is drawn between IA and ISC, and the curve is like this. Now, for a particular combination of field current, for a single particular field current, you have to put the dotted lines and extended in upward direction. That field current line may touches the short circuit curve and OCC curve at a different point. Now taking those two values. So this is the VOC value and this is the ISC value. Now therefore ZS is equal to, this is the VOC and this is the ISC. So full load values. Therefore, look at it clearly. Synchronous impedance ZS is equal to VOC phase by IASC. VOC phase by, the VOC is nothing but, so OD by AB. OD by AD is nothing but synchronous impedance. Phase EMF on open circuit with phase current and short circuit. So to calculate the regulation, ZS is equal to square root of RA square plus XS square. Therefore XS is equal to Z square root of ZS square minus RA square. Therefore phase voltage square root of V phase cos phi plus IARA whole square plus V phase sin phi plus or minus IAXS whole square. Plus is for lagging power factor, minus is for leading power factor. Then we know the V phase value, we calculate the V phase value, therefore voltage regulation, percentage voltage regulation, V phase minus V phase by V phase into 100. ZS is equal to OD by OE. ZS is equal to OD by OE. OD by OE or AB, whatever it is. Now phasor diagram of loaded alternator at unity power factor. Loaded IA, taken as IA as a reference, and for resistive load for unity power factor, voltage in phase with the current. Therefore, the IARA drop is phase with current, and IAXS drop is exactly 90 degrees above the IARA drop. Now combination of IARA plus IAXS is nothing but IAZS. synchronous voltage drop. Now vector sum of IA V phase plus IARA plus IAXS is nothing but E phase. OA is the V phase, AB is the IARA drop, BC is the IAXS drop, AC is the IAZS drop, OC is the E phase. And the triangle OBC, triangle OBC, OC square is equal to OB square plus BC square. But what about OB? OB is equal to OA plus AB. OA plus AB square plus BC square. What is OA? E phase. What is AB? AB is nothing but IARA cos phi. E phase plus IARA square plus IAXS square. Therefore, E phase is equal to square root of E phase plus IARA square plus IAXS square. Well, because cos phi equal to 1, sin phi 0. That's why E phase square is equal to E phase plus IARA square plus IAXS square. From that, we have to determine the E phase and then regulation for unit power. Suppose go for the lagging power factor, purely inductive load. Currently, here taking OA, here is the reference vector. Now IARA drop is lagging with voltage by some angle, that is IARA drop is like this. And these two are equal. IAXS drop. There is the lagging power factor. There is the IAZS. Now combination of V phase cos phi plus IARA square, V phase sin phi plus IAXS square. Whereas in unity power factor cos phi 1 sin phi 0, it means these two terms will be eliminated. V phase plus IARA square plus V phase sin phi plus IAXS square. Now leading power factor. For leading power factor, it may be go to the IA will be leading with some angle voltage by phi. Then V phase is equal to V phase square cos phi plus IARA square, V phase sin phi minus IAXS square. Well, because it is leading power factor, that's why it is getting the minus value. What is the advantage of synchronous impedance method? The main advantage of this method is that the value of synchronous impedance ZS for any type of load condition can be calculated. So regulation of the alternator at any load condition and load power factor can be determined. Actual load need not be connected to the alternator. This method can be used for very high capacity alternators. Now, what is the limitations of synchronous impedance method? Main limitation is large values of synchronous reactance. High value of synchronous reactance may lead to give the bad result. So that means it may lead to use a high value of percentage regulation. Generally, voltage regulation is as low as possible, but so large value of synchronous reactance may lead to large value of voltage regulation. So that is not correct. So generally, for a good machine, the voltage regulation may be low value. Hence, this method is called pessimistic method. That means actual values is less than the calculate the values. That's why this method is called pessimistic method. Synchronous impedance method, to determine the synchronous impedance, we can determine the RA, we can determine the, we can plot the OCC curve, we can plot the SCC curve, OCC curve is hyperbolic, but SCC curve is straight line passing through the origin. Both these curves are drawn common field current base. Zs is equal to VOC by ISC. Find out the armature resistance RA with the help of synchronous reactance and synchronous impedance, that is RA is equal to square root of RA square Zs square minus RA square. Find the synchronous impedance and reactance of an alternator which will produce armature current of 200 amperes on short circuit and general EMF of 50 volts on open circuit. Armature resistance 0.1 ohm. To what induced voltage the alternator will be excited. If it is to deliver a load of 100 ampere, the power factor of 0.8 lagging with a terminal voltage of 200 volts. Just determine synchronous impedance and synchronous reactance. Zs and Xs. Xs is combination of XL plus XA. And Zs is nothing but combination of RA plus J. So we know the open circuit voltage, we know the short circuit current, therefore open circuit voltage by short circuit current is equal to 50 by 200 equal to 0.25 ohm. So that is not open circuit voltage by short circuit current 50 by 200 is 0.25 ohm. We know the Zs value, we know the RA value, armature resistance 0.1. Therefore Xs is equal to synchronous reactance, Xs is equal to square root of Zs square minus RA square, 0.25 square minus 0.1 square, it is equal to 0.23 ohm. This is the synchronous reactance Xs and synchronous impedance Zs. Suppose we have to determine the voltage regulation. First we have to determine IA RA. IA 100 RA 0.1, that is equal to 10 volts. IA XS IA 100 into 0.23, that is equal to 23 volts. Cos pi they given 0.8 lagging, therefore sin pi 0.6. Therefore E naught is equal to square root of V cos pi plus IA RA square plus V sin pi plus IA XS square. So V 200 cos pi 0.8 plus IA RA 10 square, 200 into 0.6 plus 23 square root. By calculating the of calculator, we are getting E naught is equal to 222 volts. Therefore regulation is nothing but E naught minus V by V, that is 222 minus 200 by 200. We are getting 1 by. So another problem, a three-phase star-connected alternator is rated at 1600 kVA and 13,500 volts. The armature effective resistance and synchronous reactance for phase are 1.5 ohm and 30 ohm respectively. Calculate the percentage voltage regulation for a full load of 1280 kilowatt. With a power factor of A 0.8 lagging, B 0.8 leading, C unity power factor. So what is the given data? Line voltage 13,500 volts, capacity 1600 kVA, RA 1.5, XS 30 ohms. So therefore, determine the voltage regulation at 0.8 power factor. lagging. Line voltage VL is 13,500. In star connection, VL is equal to root 3 V phase, therefore V phase is equal to VL by root 3, 13,500 by root 3, that is equal to 7,794.22 volts. And the load is 3 phase, that is 1280 kilowatt. Load variable per phase, so 12880 divided by 3, that is equal to 426.67 kilowatt. Now power is equal to root 3 VL IL cos phi, therefore IL is equal to P by root 3 VL cos phi. So then by getting IA is equal to IL is equal to 68.46 amperes. Now reactance voltage drop IARA 68.46 into 1.5, that is 102.69 volts. Synchronous reactance drop IAXS is equal to 68.46 into 30, that is equal to 2053.8 volts. Therefore, V naught is equal to square root of V cos phi plus IARA square plus V sin phi plus IAXS square. We know the 0.8 plus 0.6. By calculating the V naught, we are getting 9244.91. Therefore, regulation V naught minus V by V naught, 9244.91, 7794.22 by 7794.22. We are getting 0.18. In percentage, 18.61%. Suppose we are getting lagging power factor, leading power factor, just put the minus sign before excess, that is equal to, this is also getting 6859.286 volts. So regulation V naught minus V by V, that is 12623.18 by minus 7794.22 by 7794.22, getting 0.62, that is 62%. So it is not a good one. So thank you. So this is more very important. So very important. So please refer the material. So next class we discuss about the operation of synchronous motor. To see this video, please subscribe DBS Talks. Thank you one and all.